Wow. Yeah. Uh, this month was a little bit crazy for the creative space, wasn't it? So we have Meta announces it's scraping users' data to train their AI. Artists are leaving Instagram for a new art-focused app called Cara. Adobe tries to backpedal after terms of service update around contradicting use of customer content to train their generative AI. And Adobe gets sued by the FTC for scummy business practices around hiding subscription termination fees. It's a freaking field day out here for us creatives, and I love it. Hello, my name is Lena, and I am a small creator and artist who hasn't been creating any art lately because I'm a very easily overwhelmed person and I'm dealing with a lot of internal issues right now. But I also wanted to chime in on all the fun that's been going on in the creative space lately. So yeah, let's get into it. It feels like everything that's been going on is mainly going to impact industry artists and more well-known creatives, and to some degree it might, but speaking from the perspective of, a small creator and somebody who's still discovering their place in the art world, this is nothing to gloss over no matter how big or small you are. So let's first cover what's going on with Meta and Instagram. At the end of May, beginning of June, Meta, parent company of Facebook and Instagram, announced that they will begin scraping users' data to train their AI. By the way, at the time of filming this, that has already begun. This means everything that has ever been posted to Facebook and Instagram publicly, your photos, your videos, your posts, everything. They also made it incredibly difficult for you to opt out of this, and even if you do get approved to opt out, and yes, you have to make a claim in order to get approved to opt out of having your data being used, all your posts would have already been scraped at that point. And the opt-out would only apply to all of your future posts. So pretty much, you're... Following this news, however, a newer app called Cara finally got its day in the spotlight and as of today is nearing almost 1 million users. This was no coincidence. This was a direct response to Meta AI, because when artists found out that their works are now going to be fed to Meta, they fled. They ran. Some artists have even gone as far as completely deleting their accounts off of Instagram. Now, if you don't know what Cara is, it's basically an art portfolio app with a UI that's a mashup of Instagram and X, formerly Twitter. Now, what's attracted so many artists to Cara is actually their integration of this software called Glaze. And what Glaze does is it basically distorts your image in a way so when it is fed into an AI, it will not be recognizable to your original work, therefore making art mimicry more difficult. Now, this is a super valuable asset to people who may fear that their artwork is being stolen and used for AI purposes. In addition, Cara also has this jobs tab where you can see postings from companies like Riot, Blizzard, and Kojima Productions, just to name a few. So we can clearly see that Cara is putting a really big emphasis on the importance of human artists. So I have made an account on Cara. I haven't posted anything, of course, because I haven't been making any art, but I probably will once I do. But I have to say, it's really nice. It's nice to just see posts in a regular way that's, not been curated by an algorithm, if that makes sense. Now, when I was watching videos from other creatives when all this news came out, I noticed this trend of people trying to debate on whether or not Cara would replace Instagram. I honestly don't think that's gonna happen. Because here's the thing, artists are only a small portion of Meta's entire user base. Instagram is not designed to be a platform just for artists. It's a full spectrum social media platform. But here's the thing, so many artists have built their businesses on Instagram. And if you rely on a social media presence to grow your art business, then it makes more sense for you to be where your customers and your audience are. And the likelihood of them being on Cara is pretty slim, because the majority of users, if not almost all of Cara's users, are primarily artists. Okay, this is gonna be my really bad analogy, but just roll with it, okay? Let's say we are all cabbage farmers, and we go to this cabbage-only farmer's market instead of a regular farmer's market. and there's no customers because there are only cabbage farmers that are here. And we're just here to admire each other's cabbages. And if I'm a cabbage farmer, I'm not gonna buy your cabbages because I already grow my own cabbages. So I'm not trying to say that artists don't buy art, period, because I know that that's what my analogy is making it sound like. But what I'm trying to say is that artists, they're more likely to spend their money on their own endeavors than just collecting art. And I find that people who make art and people who just buy art appreciate art a little bit differently. Let me give you an example. If I were to see a really cool piece of art, my initial reaction isn't, oh my gosh, I gotta buy that. But rather, I first, admire the skill and the technique of that artist. But then I think, okay, how do I make that? Or like, how do I learn how to make that? Or how do I get to the level to be able to make something like that? And of course, there are times when I come across something that's definitely not in my wheelhouse, and I definitely want to support that artist. But it's not like I would be scrolling through Cara and buying prints from every account I see. People tend to like to buy products from creators that they've built some kind of relationship or attachment to. At least from my experience. And this is very true for small business artists in particular. The thing is, artists love to create and they will always find ways to continue to make art. And again, I'm not trying to say that artists don't buy art, period, but they aren't going to be your best audience if your goal is to build your art business. And if you were to make the complete switch from Instagram to Cara, you would lose so many customers. And if you've already built a substantial following on Instagram, you're not going to have every single follower go with you to Cara. Cara is only just getting to 1 million users. And again, most of them are artists. Instagram, however, currently has 2.4 billion users. People from all walks of life. I would also just prefer that Cara stay an art-focused app because if it were to try to compete with Instagram, let's say, it would need a significant amount of funding, which is currently one of the growing pains because most of the cost to operate Cara is coming directly from the creator herself. And I think people forget how much money it costs to host such a large server. And the thing is, I would hate if Cara lost its core values as a safe place for people to just post and share their artwork. Of course, if they do wish to grow, they will eventually need monetary assistance in some way. I just hope that however they go about it, it's, aligned with both the creator and the users. And to backtrack a bit, I only bring all of this up because I personally did rely on Instagram to grow my art business. I don't plan on leaving Instagram quite yet because, the majority of my audience is still on there. But I have slowed down my usage of Instagram. Like, I haven't really been making a lot of posts lately. I've just been using the story features. If anything, that's pretty much it. That's all I've been using it for. I actually have a lot of issues with Instagram aside from the whole AI thing. But I'll elaborate on that in a future video. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the whole Instagram versus Cara situation. Let me know if you guys agree or think differently. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And I do want to mention that if you just want to post art just to post art, then don't worry about any of this. Go ahead and put your artwork wherever you feel most comfortable. And if you are concerned about your art potentially being used by AI though, you can still use Glaze and Nightshade outside of Cara. They are their own independent software that is there to help you. So I would definitely look into that if you think that would benefit you. Okay, next let's talk about what's been going on with big ol' Adobe. Adobe has they've had a very busy month. From allegations of using their customers' content in generative AI to their now lawsuit on hiding cancellation fees. Ugh, it's not pretty. Listen, I'm not going to read the entire updated terms of service to you guys. There have already been plenty of people who have done that, and I don't want to bore you guys. But I am going to give my general feelings on the matter. So at this time, even with Adobe releasing an additional blog post and a PR video to further clarify their terms of service update, there is still room for interpretation, which is what's driving everyone so mad. Adobe is still not being explicit enough with how exactly they're using our content or even how they're viewing our content. Adobe purposely leaves space and ambiguity within their terms of service because this will benefit them in the future when they need to pull the rug out from under us again to just update their terms of service whenever they see fit. Because they've done it before, they'll do it again. Adobe is doing the most legal gymnastics right now, and it's not gonna be the last. Okay, so I have a fun little tidbit for you. Here's a screenshot that I took of Adobe's terms of service page and how many times the phrase your content was used. 67 times. In comparison, here's a screenshot of Affinity's terms of service page and how many times the phrase your content was used. 0. 0 times. The simple fact that Adobe has to make that many statements around your content should tell you enough. The thing that disturbs me the most is Adobe is supposed to be a creative company. They should be in support of us creators, but they are potentially using us to replace us. They want you to skip the photo shoot and use their generative fill instead. They are building an empire of generative AI art on the backs of the people who have supported them for decades. The unfortunate thing is Adobe has always been the industry standard. Pretty much anyone that goes into a professional creative field learns Adobe software. I personally grew up using Adobe. My older brother, who I consider an industry professional, is classically trained, graduated from an art university, and went on to make art for video game companies. So growing up, I've always had access to Adobe products through him, and it's what I've always been familiar with. Competency in Adobe products is a resume requirement for people like him and so many others. And it's kind of sad how we've basically been brainwashed by them to only use their products and nothing else. And to be fair, I guess there was a time when there really wasn't anything else, and Adobe was all we had for professional creative programs. But now, everything that's been coming out from Adobe, they're basically saying they don't care about creators. They don't care about your creative process, and whatever they have planned for the pipeline is not in the best interest of their customers. The current lawsuit is proof that their interests only lie in making money. And here's the thing, I don't have an issue with companies making money. Please make money, but use it to improve your services instead of taking advantage of your customers. The simple concern of them sneakily using our content in ways that we will never even know and also invading our privacy is enough for people to say, goodbye, Adobe. And I am one of them. I will say it publicly here first. I've canceled my Adobe subscription. Just because Adobe has been in the game the longest does not make them the best. And if you feel like you have nowhere else to go but Adobe, you're in luck. Because nowadays there are so many amazing alternatives to Adobe programs. In fact, XdanielArt on X, I hate saying that instead of Twitter, but they have made this expansive list of alternatives for every single Adobe program. And I highly recommend you give it a look if you're on the fence about leaving Adobe. By the way, since I mentioned Affinity earlier, they are currently running a 50% off sale off of their entire suite of programs for a one-time purchase of $82.99. I honestly love Affinity for doing this. Whoever's on their marketing team, good job. Just for comparison's sake, my entire year's worth of Adobe subscriptions at $59.99 a month comes out to $719.88 a year before tax. Listen, even if you can afford it, why if you don't have to? The math has never mathed like it has right now. And if you like this video, I edited it entirely on CapCut Desktop, which is free. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is don't be afraid to leave Adobe. In fact, there's never been a better time to leave Adobe than now. The trust has been lost. It's gone. And I don't think they're ever gonna get it back. But no, seriously, it is concerning. You know, everything that's going on right now. And I don't blame you for feeling frustrated or overwhelmed or unsure, because trust me, we're all feeling that way. But anyway, yeah, those are my thoughts on everything that's been going on in the creative space lately. I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. And hey, I am currently on my journey of building this new YouTube channel. So if you're interested in seeing my future creative endeavors, I hope to see you again soon. So for now, take care, be safe, go for a walk, drink some water, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!